कल कितना होता फंडामेंटल राइट? हाँ 27. कोई डाउट है लास्ट क्लास से? जी, तो आर्टिकल 25 to article 28, this was about religious freedom. Means these rights are giving religious freedom to Indian as well as foreigners. How many rights are only for Indians? 15, 16, 19, 29 and 30. These rights are exclusively only for the citizen of India. And other rights are for citizens of India as well as for foreigners or alien. Alien लिखा रहेगा. So by alien means foreigner. Clear? So now come to article 27. See, article 27 gives freedom from taxation for the promotion of a religion. Freedom from taxation for promotion of religion. Clear? Yesterday I have told that theocratic state means those states who have any religion as their official religion. And secular state means states having no official religion. And India is a secular country. Means there is no official religion for the India. So India, being a secular country, cannot compel its citizens to pay taxes for promotion of any particular religion. Clear? But those states who are theocratic state means those states having any religion as their official language, official religion, they are theocratic state. They can collect taxes for the promotion of religion. Means in India, Indian state cannot officially patronize any particular religion over another religion. If it is giving aid to any religion, then it is supposed to give aid to other religion also without any kind of discrimination. Clear? So that freedom is given in article 27. That's why we called Britain as a pseudo secular state. In Britain is a called as pseudo secular state. Pseudo secular means virtually secular. Why? Because a secular state cannot collect tax and cannot patronize or support any particular religion. But in Britain, Queen donates money to promotion of church. Though they claim themselves as secular, but their queen is giving donation to the church. So ideally, their donation should be given to other religions, religious place also. That's why we called Britain as a secular state. Pseudo secular state, sorry. Clear? Secularism is in your syllabus. In which paper? It's pseudo secular. Write like this. Pseudo means virtually. Clear? And secularism is in your syllabus. Where? इन जनरल स्टडीज पेपर 1 अभी तक तुम लोग को सिलेबस नहीं लर्न हुआ है. So in GS paper 1 you have history, then society, and then geography. These three papers are in GS paper 1, and within Indian society you will have to study secularism also in detail. Clear? So at least learn the syllabus ना कि कहाँ पे क्या दिया हुआ है, इतना you are supposed to do यार. Clear? Now come to the next article, that is article 28. Article 28 gives freedom from attending religious instruction. Freedom from attending religious instruction. What does it means? It means if any institution is supported by the state fund, wholly, completely supported by the fund given by the state government or central government or state. What do you mean by state? Means any body which comes under the definition of state in article 12. We have studied article 12 na, where we have seen that what consists of state. So any institution which is wholly maintained by the state fund cannot compel for religious instruction, to follow religious instruction to any person. Clear? जैसे कोई है जो जेवी या केएनवी से पढ़ा हो, जेएनवी या केवी से या गवर्नमेंट स्कूल से, नहीं, चलो देखो मॉर्निंग प्रेयर, मॉर्निंग असेंबली जब होता था किसी भी गवर्नमेंट स्कूल में, तो वहां पे कोई रिलीजियस प्रेयर्स नहीं करवाते हैं ड्यू टू दिस रीजन. हाँ, गवर्नमेंट स्कूल में वहां पे यही चलता है, इतनी शक्ति हमें देना दाता, मन का विश्वास कम होने ना पाए. ठीक है, वहां पे तुम बोलो कि सरस्वती वंदना हो या कहीं पे फातिहा पढ़ाया जाए, सो ऐसा नहीं है. इन एनी इंस्टीट्यूशन होली फंडेड बाय द स्टेट, बट यहाँ पे एक कंडीशन है, इफ एनी स्टेट एनी इंस्टीट्यूशन इज established by any trust or endowment, then they can give religious instructions to their students, though they are getting funds from the state. But if they are established under an endowment or any trust, then they can give religious instruction to their student, though they are getting fund from the state. But when any institution is fully funded by the state and established by the state, then it cannot give religious instruction. Clear? Now come to article 29 and 30. Article 29 and 30. See, these rights are for cultural and educational rights. Cultural and educational rights. Clear? So first we will study about article 29. Article 29. This right is for the protection of interest of minority. Protection of interests of minorities. Clear? Now see very carefully. though this right is for the protection of interest of minorities to preserve their language and their culture and their script. Minorities have been given the fundamental right to protect their language, their script and their culture. But this right is not specific to minorities only. If you will see the text in the rights given in Article 29, then it is for any citizen or any section of citizen. Any citizen or any section of citizen means this right is not only for the minority. This is for any citizen. And when we will talk about any citizen, it will automatically cover minorities. Clear? Means this right is not specifically for the minorities. This is for the any citizen. And what do we mean by any citizen? Means any citizen of India. Because these rights are available into Indian citizen. Clear? So Article 29 is available to any citizen of India. And when we talk about any citizen of India, it automatically covers the interest of minorities. Means any citizens of India have the right to protect their language, their script and their culture. Distinct culture from other people. For example, Hindus have distinct culture as compared to Muslims. Tribal have different culture as compared to general people. So they have, if any citizen of India have any distinct culture or any citizen of India have any distinct culture, means unique culture that is different from other, then that citizen have all the right to preserve that culture or their language. Clear? Now come to Article 30. Article 30. Clear? Article 30 gives the minorities the right to establish or administer educational institution. See, that's why Article 29 and 30 combined called as cultural and educational right. Because in Article 29 we talked about cultural rights, now we are talking about educational right. So Article 29 gives the right to the minorities to establish and administer educational institution of their choice. But see very carefully, if you will go to the by the text of the article, then this right is only for minorities, not for any citizen, unlike Article 29. Clear? So Article 30 is only for minorities, whereas Article 29 is for any citizen of India. And when we talk about minorities, then Constitution cover only two minorities, that is linguistic minorities and religious minorities. Clear? Article 30 do not talk about ethnic minorities. Ethnic is not covered. Clear? Only two kind of minority, that is linguistic minority and religious minority, are covered under Article 30. And they are given the right to establish and administer educational institution of their choice. You got the difference between Article 29 and 30? Article 29 is for the cultural rights and it is for the any citizen of India, whereas Article 30 is for the educational right of minorities and only linguistic and religious minorities. Clear? Now come to Article 31. Anyone what is given in Article 31? No, it has been deleted. Article 31 has been deleted in the Constitution. It was given, right to property was given in Article 31 before 1978. ठीक है? But now right to property is in which article? Article 300A. Means right to property is no more a fundamental right. It's a legal right. Clear na? Now come to Article 32. Article 32 is called as right to constitutional remedies. Right to constitutional remedies. Right to constitutional remedies. See, can anyone tell me why we are calling fundamental right as fundamental? Why? Anyone? Why we are calling fundamental right as fundamental? No idea. So why we are not calling it as human right? Why we are calling it fundamental right? Because it is for the people. Human right is also for the people. So why we are calling them as a fundamental right? I have told in the class when I have started fundamental right. At that time I have told. Tell me. Because these fundamental rights are guaranteed and protected by the Constitution. And what is Constitution? It is the fundamental law of the land. So these laws, these rights are backed by the Constitution, and Constitution itself is the fundamental law of the land. And these rights are backed by those fundamental laws. That's why we are calling them as fundamental right. I have told this when I have initiated fundamental rights in the class. Clear? See what will happen in the exam if you will not revise again and again. This is very basic question which I have told in the class, but you guys are not able to recall it due to the lack of revision. That's why I ask for multiple revision. No? You keep revising. See, these rights are fundamental rights, and why these rights are fundamental rights? Because they are backed by the Constitution. Means, in case of violation, you can go to the court of the law, that is Supreme Court or High Court, and this is provided in Article 32. Means this remedy, this solution is provided in Article 32. That in case of violation of your fundamental rights, a person can move to the Supreme Court under Article 32 and under Article 226 to High Court. Clear? That's why we called this as a constitutional remedies. Why constitutional remedies? Because these are remedies for the fundamental rights given in our Constitution. Is that clear? Any doubt? And that's why Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar called this right as very heart and soul of the Constitution. Due to its importance of its remedies. provided to the citizen. Is that clear? Now, when a citizen will move to the Supreme Court for the enforcement of his fundamental right, then Supreme Court shall protect the right of that citizen by issuing order or writs of five nature. Supreme Court will issue order or writs of five nature to protect the or enforce the fundamental rights of citizen. And first one is habeas corpus. What do you mean by habeas corpus? Habeas corpus means to present the body in front of the court in case of arrest. If court will ask to present the body, then that authority which has arrested any person will have to present that body in front of the court. And if court found that the ground of arrest is not lawful or it is not satisfactory, then court can order to set free that person. If the ground of arrest is not under any law or it is not satisfactory, so what kind of writ can be issued? That is habeas corpus. Clear? Now the second is mandamus. See, in mains, if you are going to write answer of this question, then you can draw a diagram like this. This will show the more visibility of your answer, your content. Okay, write the writ in box and write all the writs. Clear? In case of 5 dimension, you can draw like diagram like this, and in case of 6 dimension, you can draw diagram like this. There is 6 dimension in the answer. So you will have to learn these things gradually. This is a process. You cannot learn all these things in one day. And in case if you want to show anything positive or negative, then you can draw a diagram like this. Positive and here negative. Like this. So these diagrams will enhance visibility of content of your answer. And you will definitely fetch 1 or 0.5 marks extra from other candidates. Clear? And if you will do such in at least 10 or 15 questions, then you will get 10 or 15 marks extra. Clear? और 1 मार्क्स की कीमत तुम क्या जानो रमेश बाबू इन यूपीएससी और स्टेट पीएससी. It will decide your future. Ask those candidates who have failed their interview or mains by or prelims by 1 marks or even 0.66, 0.33 marks. They will let you know what is the price of 1 mark in UPSC. So that's your duty to learn how to fetch few extra marks in your mains exam. And for that you have to be consistent in your effort. Okay? Unlike those students who skip their classes. I call those students as guest student. कुछ दिन आएंगे 15 दिन बाद फिर आएंगे. ठीक है? And they think that कि by this way they will be able to learn. जैसे गेस्ट टीचर होते थे ना पहले कि कुछ स्पेसिफिक चीजें पढ़ाने के लिए बुलाया जाता है, तो ऐसे कुछ गेस्ट स्टूडेंट भी होते हैं, स्पेशली दोज स्टूडेंट हु हैव जस्ट पास देयर 12th. They think that ki I have enough time. I have 3 years to qualify this exam, which I used to think when I was in graduation. And see where I am today, teaching you guys, unfortunately, because I could not qualify. So I don't want you guys to teach in any coaching institution. Though I am a teacher, but I don't want my student to be a teacher. I want to see them as officer only. And that cannot be achieved without consistency, no? And especially those who have 2 or 3 years in their hand, they generally skip their classes कि अभी नहीं यार बाद में फिर से कवर कर लेंगे. और दैट बात नेवर हैपन इन योर लाइफ, छोड़ दोगे वो मिस हो जाएगा। ठीक है। नाउ कम टू द रिट ऑफ मैंडेमस। मैंडेमस मीन्स वी कमांड, means if any public office holder is not performing his duty, is not doing his duty, then a person can, aggrieved person can move to Supreme Court, and Supreme Court will issue the writ of mandamus to perform his duty. Clear? Now come to the writ of prohibition. See, what is the meaning of prohibition? To forbid someone, to stop someone. So prohibition means when higher court means Supreme Court or High Court, they prohibit lower court, do not cross your jurisdiction. When any lower court cross and go beyond his jurisdiction, then Supreme Court or High Court will issue writ to that lower court to prohibit them to cross their jurisdiction and ask them not to go beyond their jurisdiction. Clear? See, for example, interstate conflict, that is the original jurisdiction of Supreme Court, and if any lower court has started hearing on that case, then Supreme Court will issue it that this is not under your jurisdiction, this comes under the original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. Interstate conflict is under the original and exclusive jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. No other court can hear the case of interstate dispute or the center state dispute. It is the original and exclusive jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. Means such kind of cases can be heard only in the Supreme Court. And suppose any high court or any lower court has started hearing this kind of cases, then Supreme Court will issue it. Clear? Now come to the next, that is certiorari. See, certiorari is also similar to, up to some extent similar to the prohibition writ. Here higher court means Supreme Court and High Court also prohibit lower court as well as lower authorities to stop hearing the case, and at the same time they will ask the lower court to transfer that case to their higher authorities or the higher court. Here in prohibition they only prohibit na, and in certiorari they will ask that lower court or the lower authority not to hear that case as well as transfer that case to their higher authorities or the higher court. Clear? That's why we called certiorari as curative and prohibition only as preventive. So prohibition is only preventive. Clear? Whereas certiorari is both preventive as well as curative. Is that clear? And why we are calling certiorari as curative? Because it's also provide cure, not only prevent. It also asks the lower authority and lower court to transfer that case to the higher authority. Clear? Now come to the last writ, and that is quo warranto. Quo warranto means by what authority? By what authority? Suppose if any public office is holded by any person who is not entitled to hold that office, he is not supposed to hold that office, still he is holding that office. So a writ called quo warranto can be issued against that person to ask by what authority you are holding this position. And if that person is not able to justify by what authority he is holding that position, that public office, then that person will have to remit that office by the order of Supreme Court. So if any person is not entitled to hold any office, still he is holding to that office. then in that case the writ of quo warranto can be issued by the Supreme Court. Clear? So these are the 5 kind of writs which can be issued by the Supreme Court to protect the fundamental rights of any citizen. And these are the remedies given in the Constitution under Article 32. That's why Article 32 is called as the right for the constitutional remedies. Clear? Now, see, if someone will ask you what are the criticism of the fundamental right, so can you tell me what are the criticism? So it is not a criticism, it is the significance of the fundamental right that it puts limitation on the power of the state to stop the state from becoming an authoritarian state. So that is the positive thing about uh, fundamental rights. Hmm? See, I have told you that sometimes fundamental rights curtail the liberty of the citizen, especially when I was teaching about the right to life, right to preventive detention. It gives the right to the state to curtail the liberty of the citizen, and that right has been misused by the many governments. Also, some of the fundamental rights are negative in nature, है ना? Isn't it? So what does it mean? Ki fundamental rights are not good. There is no significance of fundamental right. We can criticize the fundamental right, but still fundamental rights are very important. For example, significance of fundamental right. See, for any democracy to survive, what is necessary condition? Fundamental right. Citizen must enjoy some fundamental rights for any democracy to survive. And that's what I told in the social contract theory. Social contract theory. If few right, few rights, independence, and freedom have been given by the citizen to the state, and in return, state will protect that citizen to prevent the anarchy and chaos in the society. For example, we are giving few of our fundamental rights like freedom of speech to the state. That state can put restrictions. You cannot say anything to anyone. Otherwise, we will start abusing anyone and will say that this is our freedom of speech. I can say anything. So this might create chaos in the society, na? But in our fundamental rights, we have been given freedom of speech. But that speech can be restricted. In case of defamation of the court, or defamation or contempt of the court, or decency or morality, these rights can be restricted. But at the same time, we have been given the freedom to speech also, so that we can criticize anything which state is doing that is authoritarian in nature. Otherwise, what happens in monarchy or what happens in dictatorship? See, in North Korea, You cannot even criticize your ruler. So democracy cannot survive without some fundamental rights. So fundamental rights are the bedrock of the democratic system. Clear? Otherwise you won't be able to criticize your government ना. नॉर्थ कोरिया में तुम किम जोंग उंग जैसा हेयर स्टाइल भी नहीं रख सकते हो. यहाँ हम लोग मोदी जी पे मीम बनाए रहते हैं. Isn't it? That's why our democracy is vibrant, progressive and surviving. है ना? Second significance, it will protect the citizen. Moral protection as well as material protection, both. It is protecting the citizen, na? Their life, their opportunity, their religious freedom, their culture. The fundamental rights giving this kind of protection. As well as it's also provide liberty to the individuals. We have seen in Article 21, personal liberty. And that liberty cannot be curtailed by the state without any law. So this also provides liberty to the citizen. And next, they will help for the establishment of rule of law in the country. What is the rule of law? Means everyone is equal before the law. No one is above law. So this can be seen in Article 14 to 18, right to equality. Everyone is equal in India, na? No one is above law. That is one of the feature of rule of law. No one is above the law. No one can be punished except according to the law. Clear? And next feature, the significance of fundamental right, it protects the interest of minorities. We have given some special rights to our minorities, na? Right to religious freedom, educational and cultural rights, Article 25 to 28 and 29 to 30. So when you are going to write in the mains, you have to substantiate your point by mentioning the articles also. If we are going to write that fundamental right protects interest of minority and any section of the citizen, a marginalized or weaker section of citizen, then we will have to write the articles that Article 25 to 28 provides religious freedom. Article 29 to 30 provides cultural and educational right to the minorities. That's how you will fetch extra marks in the exam. Okay. Also, it will strengthen the secular fabric of the country. I have told in when I was teaching salient feature of Indian Constitution that India is a secular country. The fundamental right is strengthening that feature by giving right to equality. Means state cannot discriminate on the basis of religion, isn't it? In Article 15 we have seen that na, in case of public employment, state cannot discriminate on the basis of religion. Also we have given religious right to our minorities as well as cultural and educational right. So what does it means? It means we are fundamental rights are strengthening the secular fabric of the country. Clear? Also another thing, that is the most important significance of fundamental right. It checks the arbitrariness of the state. It checks the authoritarian character of the state by limiting the power and authority of the state. Fundamental rights check the arbitrariness of the state so that state cannot use those powers, those authorities in the arbitrary manner. And state does not become an authoritarian state or dictatorial state. Which can be seen in Article 21, right to life and personal liberty. State cannot curtail the liberty of any citizen, no? Means state cannot use the power in absolute manner. Next is the fundamental rights lay the foundation stone of social equality and social justice. है ना? In article 14 to 18, right to equality. Right to equality ensure what? It ensures social equality also, as well as ensures social justice. Clear? And next is the it ensures the dignity and respect of individual. Isn't it? By putting restriction on the freedom of speech. अदरवाइज कोई किसी को कुछ भी बोलता ना, इंडिविजुअल डिग्निटी कहाँ देखते हैं. But state has put restriction that in case of morality and decency, these rights can be curtailed. Clear? So these are the significance of fundamental rights. Now we will be moving to a new chapter, that is Directive Principle of State Policy. Directive Principle of State Policies. Come to the new chapter. Directive Principles of State Policies are DPSPs. See, DPSPs are given in Part 4 from Article 36 to 51, and DPSPs are borrowed from Irish Constitution. Clear? So you can write down that DPSPs are given in Part 3. First, I am going to dictate few important things you can write down about fundamental rights from Article 27. Then we will move to DPSP. Write down in Article 27. This right is for freedom from from taxation for promotion of a religion. Freedom from taxation for promotion of a religion. Write down Article 27 says that no person shall be compelled to pay. No person shall be compelled to pay. Shall be compelled to pay any tax for promotion of any particular religion. For promotion to any particular religion. Means state cannot favor patronize. State cannot favor patronize and support one religion over other. Cannot favor, patronize or support one religion over other. Now come to Article 28. It says that no religious instructions shall be provided. No religious instructions shall be provided in any institution, in any institution fully funded by the state, in any institution fully funded by the state. However, this provision shall not apply to institution established under trust, shall not apply to institution established under trust not apply to institution established under any trust or endowment. Clear? Next, Article 29. Write down. Article 29, protect the interest of minorities. It says that protect the interest of minorities. It says that any citizen or any section of citizen, इसको highlight कर लेना. Any citizen or any section of citizen having a distinct language, script or culture have the right to conserve. Any citizen or any section of citizen have a distinct language, script or culture, language, script or culture, have the right to conserve the same. What does it means? It means that any citizen of India, you can write that in the bracket. This right is for any citizen of India, not exclusively for minorities. Clear na? You can write down in bracket that this right means any citizen of India and not exclusively for minorities. Otherwise you won't be able to recall. Now come to Article 30. Article 30. Article 30 says that all minorities, whether linguistic or religious, all minorities, whether linguistic or religious, bracket में लिखो not ethnic, within bracket not ethnic means constitution talks about religious and linguistic minorities only. All minorities, whether linguistic or religious, shall have the right to establish and administer educational institution of their choice. Educational institution of their choice. Now come to Article 31, that is repealed. So write Article 32. Article 32. Article 32 is about right to constitutional remedies. Right to constitutional remedies. Write down. Article 32 gives the right to move to Supreme Court. Gives the right to move to Supreme Court for the enforcement of fundamental rights. For the enforcement of fundamental rights. For the enforcement of fundamental rights. in case of its violation. In case of its violation. And the Supreme Court shall have the power and the Supreme Court shall have the power to issue orders or writs. Supreme Court shall have the power to issue order or writs in the nature of habeas corpus, habeas corpus, quo warranto, quo warranto, mandamus, prohibition, mandamus, prohibition, certiorari. Next, because of this right, Bhimrao Ambedkar called Article 32. Because of this right, Bhimrao Ambedkar called Article 32. Article 32 the very soul of the Constitution and the very heart of it. The very soul of the Constitution and the very heart of it. Because a citizen have the right to move to Supreme Court. Because a citizen have the right to move to Supreme Court to get any of the fundamental rights restored. To get any of the fundamental rights restored in case of their violation. In case of their violation. Now come to types of writs issued by the court. Type of writs issued by the court. First one is habeas corpus. Habeas corpus means arrested person should be presented before court. Habeas corpus means arrested person should be produced before the court on the order of the court. Produced before the court on the order of the court. And if that person is arrested on the ground not and if that person is arrested on the ground that is not lawful or satisfactory, that is not lawful or satisfactory, then court can order to set free that person. Then court can order to set free that person. Come to the second, mandamus. Mandamus is issued when the court find that a person holding a particular office is not doing his legal duties. Clear? Now come to the prohibition. Write down prohibition issued by the higher court. Prohibition issued by the higher court when a lower court issued by higher court when a lower court has considered a case beyond its jurisdiction. A lower court has considered a case beyond its jurisdiction. Next is certiorari. Certiorari issued by the court, issued by the court to a lower court or another authority, issued by the court to a lower court or another authority to transfer a matter, to transfer a matter pending before it, to transfer a matter pending before it to the higher court or higher authority, to the higher court or higher authority. Now come to the next, significance of fundamental rights. Significance of fundamental rights. Write down. They constitute the bedrock of democratic system in the country. They constitute the bedrock of the democratic system in the country. Constitute the bedrock of democratic system in the country. Next, they provide necessary condition for material and moral protection of man. Necessary conditions for material and moral protection of man. Next, they ensure individual liberty. They ensure individual liberty. Next, they help in the establishment of rule of law. They help in the establishment of rule of law. Next, they protect interest of minorities and vulnerable section of society. They protect interest of minorities and vulnerable section of society. They protect interest of minorities and vulnerable section of society. Next, they strengthen secularism. They strengthen secularism in India. Strengthen secularism in India. Next, they put limitation on the authority of the state. They put limitation on the authority of the state and check the absoluteness of the state. And check the absoluteness of the state. Next, they help in ensuring social equality and social justice. They help in ensuring social equality and social justice. Next, they ensure dignity of individual. They ensure dignity of the individual. Clear? Now come to the DPSP, that is Directive Principle of State Policy. Directive Principle of State Policy. This is new chapter. Directive principle of state policy, that is given in part 4 and in article 36 to 51 and is borrowed from Irish constitution. Clear? You can draw such kind of diagram to make short notes. Okay? That's how you will be able to recall in the exam. And while reading any topic, I think you should draw such kind of diagrams. Don't depends on the class notes or booklet for the last moment revision. Clear? We will have huge compilation of notes before your exam. So you won't be able to revise all those notes or all those books. So it is always preferable to make short notes for quick revision at last moment. Clear? So Dpsp are given in part 4, that is from article 36 to, this is 36, make it 36 to 51 and is borrowed from Irish constitution. And one more thing, Dpsps are non-justiciable in nature. What does it means? What is the meaning of non-justiciable? Means in case of violation of these mentions in the Dpsps, you cannot move to the Supreme Court, unlike fundamental rights. In fundamental rights, any aggrieved person can move to the Supreme Court in case of violation of fundamental right and directly to the Supreme Court. But in case of Dpsp, in case of violation or non-fulfillment of these rights, you cannot move to the any court of law. That's why we called them non-justiciable in nature. Clear? And another thing, see, while fundamental rights are mostly negative obligation on the state, na? Ki state cannot do this, state cannot curtail liberty, state cannot discriminate. So these are the negative obligation on the state. Clear? Whereas Dpsps are the positive obligation on the state. Means state shall do this, state shall do that, state shall give right to work, state shall reduce income inequality, state shall ensure uniform civil code, state shall promote cottage industries, state shall prohibit consumption of liquor. Means states are given to do certain things unlike fundamental rights where they have been prohibited to not do something. That's why Dpsps are the positive obligation on the state. Clear? And that's why Dr. Ambedkar called Dpsps as the novel feature of the constitution. Novel feature of the constitution. Clear? Now come to the features of Dpsp. What are the features of Dpsps? Dpsps means Directive Principle of State Policy. See, while teaching fundamental right, I have told that fundamental right ensure the political democracy. Fundamental right ensure political democracy. Means it is giving some political rights to the citizen. And in case of Dpsp, I have told at that time that it ensure social and economic democracy. The fundamental right ensure political democracy and Dpsp ensure social and economic democracy. And to bring about social and economic change. Social and economic democracy and social and economic change. How? We will be studying about the DPSPs, then we will see that state provides free legal aid to its citizen. ठीक है, state shall provide free legal aid to its citizen. State shall reduce income inequality. State shall promote cottage industry. Clear? State shall prohibit cow slaughter. State shall promote right to work. So what kind of rights are these? These are social and economic in nature, na? Whereas in fundamental right, it was political in nature. So fundamental right tries to ensure political democracy, and DPSP tries to ensure social and economic democracy. Clear? Any doubt in this concept? Ki how it is ensuring social and economic? See, right to work, it is related to the economic empowerment, na? Economic change. It's also talk about maternity benefit to the women. That will lead to the social empowerment and economic empowerment of women. Clear? So it is about social and economic democracy as well as to bring about social and economic change in the country. Clear? And next feature is it will fulfill the need of the common man. It will fulfill need of the common man. For example, right to work, that is the DPSP. So every common man needs some kind of work to survive for their livelihood, and DPSP is providing that right to work. So it is also for the basic need of the common man. Clear? And one more feature of Indian society was there was social and economic inequality, which is still there. According to Oxfam report, 90% wealth of India is under 10% of Indian, whereas remaining 90% people have 10% of the wealth of India. And this has been asked in UPSC also, to ensure to reduce social and economic inequality. In which part of the constitution? Yeah, which part of the constitution talks about reducing socio-economic inequality or promoting socio-economic equality? This question has been asked, I think, in 2021 in UPSC prelims. Which part of the constitution, yeah, which one of the following provision of the constitution ensures socio-economic equality? No, it is DPSP. DPSP specifically talks about it shall be the duty of the state to ensure socio-economic equality. And this question was asked by the UPSC in 2021 prelims. That's why I have asked you to purchase at least previous year books, previous year's question booklet, to see what kind of question is being asked by UPSC and state PSCs. Clear? And another question has been asked by the UPSC. What is the fundamental for the governance of the country? So it is the DPSP which is fundamental for the governance of the country. So another feature of DPSP is it is fundamental for the governance of the country. It is fundamental for the governance of country. How? Because DPSP have given some positive obligation on the states. कि states are states shall perform such kind of duties to bring about the socio-economic change in the society, to restructure the Indian society. to promote socio-economic equality. So these DPSPs are the fundamental for the governance of the country, and that has also been asked by the UPSC. Which one of the following is fundamental for the governance of the country? So it is DPSP that is fundamental for the governance of the country. And while making laws, Parliament always consider what is given in the DPSP. And it is also a tool in the hand of opposition party to check the accountability of the government which is in the power. Clear? But only one drawback of DPSP is that it is not justiciable in nature. What does it mean? It means that if in case of violation of any provision given in the DPSP, a citizen cannot move to the Supreme Court. Clear? So these are the features of DPSP. And DPSPs are divided in three parts. If you have come to the classification of DPSP, then these are divided into three parts. Socialistic DPSP means those provisions of DPSP which promote socialism. This has been asked by UPPSC in GS paper 2. Indian model of socialism is enshrined in the DPSP. So we will have to learn what articles in DPSP are promoting socialism. And then another classification is Gandhian. Means those DPSPs which promote ideology of Gandhi's, ideas of Gandhi. Clear? And then third one is liberal intellectual principle. Clear? So DPSPs are broadly classified into three terms. DPSP are classified into socialist, Gandhian and liberal intellectual principle. Clear? So in tomorrow's class we will study all the details about the DPSP according to this classification, means socialist principle, liberal principle and Gandhian principle. Clear? And then we will study each and every article in detail, because these articles are very important for the prelims point of view as well as for the mains. They will ask you directly or they will ask you indirectly. And also you can use these articles in your answer writing. Clear? So write down part 4 article 365 write down part 4 article 36 to 51 deals with DPSPs. Part 4 article 36 to 51 deals with the DPSPs. DPSP provide guidelines to the central as well as state government. DPSP provide guidelines to the central as well as state governments regarding formulation of policies and laws. Regarding formulation of policies and laws. These principles are fundamental in governance. These principles are fundamental in the governance of the country. These principles are fundamental in the governance of the country, but they are non-justiciable in nature. But they are non-justiciable in nature. Non-justiciable in nature means they cannot be enforced by any court. Means they cannot be enforced by any court. Next, while most of the fundamental rights are negative obligation on the states, while most of the fundamental rights are negative obligation on the state. DPSPs are the positive obligation on the state. DPSPs are the positive obligation on the states. Idea of DPSP was borrowed from Irish Constitution. Irish Constitution. Bhimrao Ambedkar described these principles as the novel feature of Indian Constitution. Bhimrao Ambedkar described these features as the novel features of Indian Constitution. Now come to the next, that is features of DPSP. Features of DPSP. Write down. It aims to set up a social and economic goal. It aims to set up social and economic goals before the lawmakers. Social and economic goals before the lawmakers. Next, to bring socio-economic change in the country. To bring socio-economic change in the country. Next, to fulfill the basic need of the common man. To fulfill the basic need of the common man. Next, to restructure Indian society. To restructure Indian society for greater socio-economic equality. For greater socio-economic equality. Next, it is fundamental to the governance of the country. It is fundamental to the governance of country. Next, write down classification of DPSP. Classification of DPSP. First is socialistic principles. Socialistic principles. Second is Gandhian principles. And third is liberal intellectual principles. Socialistic principles, Gandhian principles, liberal intellectual principles. Clear? कोई डाउट आज की क्लास या कल की क्लास से कुछ पूछना है? कुछ नहीं.